Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassarre with TeddyBaldassarre.com, and in this video we're looking at a Grand Seiko, a spring drive GMT known as the SBGE285. So if you're new to this channel, this is where we cover watches available for purchase on our website, TeddyBaldassarre.com, as an authorized dealer. In this video, I'm going to be handing off this review to Danny Milton, a member of our team here. He's going to be sharing everything you need to know about this piece, going through all the specs, his time in wearing this piece, and a lot more throughout this review. So in this video, if you have further questions or looking to buy this watch, the link will be in the description down below. But without further ado, let's hand this one off to Danny and let him get into the review.
It's been 27 years since Grand Seiko first introduced the spring drive movement at Baselworld in 1998. And all those years later, the spring drive movement still permeates the Grand Seiko catalog. One watch that's a stunning illustration of the spring drive movement is the titanium SBGE285, also known as the Mistflake. It's gotten the name due to its striking gray dial first introduced at Watches and Wonders in 2022. The SBGE285 is part of the Evolution 9 series, a range that showcases the technical prowess of Grand Seiko, combined with design aesthetics rooted in the language of 1967's 44GS. With Grand Seiko's full capabilities coming to bear in this highly versatile design, the SBGE285 has a lot going for it, and the convergence of its many attributes add up to a timepiece that could legitimately be a one-watch collection. So let's take a closer look at what makes this refined GMT so compelling. Taking a look at the case itself, the first thing you're going to notice is the darker hue due to the use of titanium as opposed to stainless steel. Grand Seiko's high-intensity titanium is their exclusive alloy, which not only weighs around 30% less than steel, but offers an upgrade in corrosion resistance and surface hardness when compared to most titanium. As for the dimensions, the SBGE285 wears like a dream. With a 41mm case diameter, a 13.9mm case height, and a lug-to-lug of 47.4mm with 22mm between the drilled, downward-swept lugs. In actuality, the case wears closer to 40mm for a couple of reasons. One, a smaller dial opening, and some of the height is a result of the fixed 24-hour bezel. The format and look recall both the Rolex Explorer 2 and Tudor's Black Bay Pro with their fixed steel bezels, but the SBGE285's titanium construction alleviates any weight concerns you might encounter. As you might expect, this case lives up to Grand Seiko's elevated standards, made more impressive by the difficulty in finishing titanium. Sharp bevels make for an elegant transition from the top to the sides, and the 24-hour bezel also features mixed finishing, with engraved 24-hour markings infilled in black for great contrast. A domed sapphire crystal protects the dial and features anti-reflective treatment on the underside for a better view. The signed screw-down crown at 3 is guarded by the slight asymmetry of the case, done in an attractive, flowing sweep that complements the overall design language. The crown works in concert with the screwed-in exhibition caseback to provide 100 meters of water resistance. The SBGE285 comes standard on a 3-link titanium bracelet with solid end links that, while extending a touch, offer a downward sweep that makes little real-world difference in the wear experience. The titanium is nicely finished, with a chamfered edge on the outer links, and subtle striping on the inner ones. The 22mm lug width is a bit broad, but still works well with the case in terms of the overall look and feel. One caveat with the signed GS clasp is the lack of meaningful range in terms of micro-adjustment. Grand Seiko does include a pair of half-links, however, and most wrists will find a good fit. A dial is most often the one thing on your watch that's going to get noticed first, and we all know that Grand Seiko has their dial game on lock, and the SBGE285 is no exception. It has an effervescent silvery gray texture that relies on a quiet subtlety to get its point across. If you're looking for an analog to compare to in the Grand Seiko catalog, it's a more muted texture. Think snowflake rather than white birch, and silver instead of white. Meant to evoke the mist blanketing the mountains in winter near Nagano, the dial's nickname is Mistflake, and slots in neatly in the GS lineup of nature-inspired dials. The dial furniture is classic Grand Seiko with a framed date window at 3, faceted Zaratsu polished indices, and a double-wide index at 12. They all feature a lume-filled center that glows green, matching the lume on the razor-sharp faceted Dauphine hour and minute hands. The arrow-tipped GMT hand gets a blue glow, however, offering a point of distinction for easier reading. The GMT functions as a true traveler's watch, with its independently jumping hour hand making adjustments for a new local time a breeze. The power reserve indicator sits between 7 and 8, And while it continues to be debated, the execution here is tasteful and nearly monochromatic, making it a non-issue to all but the most passionate symmetry purists. Dial text is also reserved, with only the applied logo and word mark below 12, and spring drive GMT above 6, which dovetails neatly into our look into the 9R66 movement. Grand Seiko stands out by putting equal weight behind its dials, finishing, and movements, and the 9R66 is no exception, continuing that tradition by bringing quartz-like accuracy to a movement with a mechanical power source. First released in 2006, the 9R66 boasts that precision while offering a long weekend's worth of power reserve at 72 hours, on par with Switzerland's best. A masterpiece of microengineering, the spring drive gets its power by way of a traditional mainspring and rotor, but ups the ante from there. The mainspring's power reserve, in conjunction with the freely rotating glide wheel, works to create a small electrical charge with the aid of a magnet, sending a signal to an integrated circuit and quartz oscillator. An electromagnetic pulse returns, aided by copper wire, acting as a frictionless brake for the glide wheel, which results in the ultra-smooth sweep of the second hand that spring drive is known for. This is Grand Seiko at its finest, the perfect marriage of technology and art, and that artisanship continues in the finishing of the 9R66. You'll notice deeply engraved waves across the rotor and bridges, beveled edges, mirror polishing on the movement screws, and refined engraving. As a result, the backside of the SBGE285 is as attractive as the front. Okay, now let's turn to the pros and cons of the SBGE285, and the most obvious con here has to be with the bracelet. It doesn't have quite as much micro adjustment as we would like. Of course, it comes with half links and you do find your fit, but I think quick adjust is something that's really missing here. Now, of course, earlier this year at Watches and Wonders, we saw Grand Seiko release the new UFA, which comes with a bracelet with micro adjust, so we have to imagine it's only a matter of time before such technology gets integrated across the collection. Now, turning over to the pros, first thing on the list has to be the fantastic wearable dimensions. Of course, this reads as a 41mm watch, but as Teddy has said in the past, and as I can attest to in wearing this wears like a traditional 40mm watch. It has strong comparisons to watches like the Rolex Explorer 2 and the Tudor Black Bay Pro, but I think the fact that it slots in between both of them in terms of thickness, it kind of hits the sweet spot in terms of wearability overall. The finishing is sharp and precise, and the spring drive movement is, to put it mildly, in a class by itself. The independently jumping hour hand is also a plus because it makes it a true traveler's GMT. Add that to 100 meters of water resistance, the lightness of a titanium case, and the overall comfort of this watch on wrist. This is a strong contender for the vaunted One Watch Collection class of watches. Okay, now final thoughts on the SBGE285. Well, off the top, this watch, coming out of Grand Seiko's Evolution 9 collection, far outperforms what its specs say on paper. Like I've said earlier in this video, it wears like a true 40mm watch. It's a traveler's GMT in a light titanium case with the accuracy of spring drive. It's hard to point to too many flaws other than the aforementioned bracelet. The thickness is right on point for the case diameter. And overall, this is a great watch for everyday wear. It's sporty, but that Nagano-inspired dial design just gives it a classiness that separates it from the competition. This can be worn in all manner of situations, and is perfect for travel. An elegant watch, a traveler's watch, an everyday watch, I'll take all three.
All right, guys, that's all we have for this video. If you did enjoy it, please give this one a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Really do appreciate that. That does help out the channel. Also, if you are in the market for this watch, it is available on TeddyBaldassarre.com. TeddyBaldassarre.com is an authorized dealer for all the brands that we carry. Every purchase comes with quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support, and a full factory warranty for all the products that we offer. Now we're able to continue to do what we do on this channel, but really on that main channel is through selling watches. So if you are in the market for a watch, we'd absolutely love to have your business. Let's keep doing what we're doing here. We love what we do. Guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.